feel like I need to get back to my roots. This can't be all that life is. Hell no. Do it. I don't give. I'm gonna graduate. I was like, you know what? The least they can tell me is no. Every day, you gotta tell yourself every day. I'm gonna do my makeup. I haven't done my makeup in such a long time, and I feel like I need to get back to my roots, which is doing makeup. That's kind of cute. But this ending, this is so cute. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful. Love a good flexi ride. A sexy flexi ride. I'm gonna pull out my makeup products, but basically we're gonna talk about being motivated, how to get back to you, okay? So I don't think I have like a lot of like pointers, but I just want to talk and like give somebody the uplifting that they need, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, this week I really needed to be uplifted, because, well, really ever since I got to Arizona, because I mean, once you're in a new environment and you kind of force yourself to grow out of like all the old stuff. And like I've been through this before, moving from Dallas to like Prairie View, and then moving from Prairie View to Houston. But like moving to a whole nother state where it's like, oh, whenever I go somewhere where I want to visit like friends and family, it's a flight away. That's like a big difference, and it's a lot of maturity that comes into that. But I also felt like I was outgrowing Houston in like a numerous amount of ways. And I just want to do this video because it's kind of like me talking to myself, but I feel like I can help y'all or motivate y'all at the same time. So basically, when I first went to school, I had to get out of the environment of Dallas, because I'm not gonna say I felt like it was holding me back, but I felt like it was always something else out there. Like I'm the type of person where I'm like, this can't be all that life is. And luckily for us, like YouTube and social media in general, it opens doors to where you can see what else is out there. Now imagine, I know some people like to say social media has its like ups and downs, or it's ruining social life, blah 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 blah, but it depends on how you look at it, right? So if you look at it through a perspective like, okay, I need this to inspire me, I need this to motivate me, it's gonna do well. But if you looking at it like, oh, you know, I'm envying these people, I'm jealous, I'm mad, it's life is what you make it. And I'm gonna apply that same message to social media. Social media is what you make it. So if you're strictly looking at all the good things that's happening to people, or all the bad things in general, and you're taking it in a negative way, you're going to feel negative about it, because you're not you gotta fix that mind first, right? So me, when I moved from Dallas to Prairie View, I had to change my mind. I couldn't let my mind sit there and think that life in Dallas was all there was. On top of the fact that my family, like we all were struggling. So I was like, I can't, this is not, because it's so easy for your mind to be like, oh, this is all there is. Like, that's it. And I was like, no, there's more. There has to be more. So when I started getting a phone, I started like looking at different things and viewing different things, seeing the world, seeing what I was out there. And I was like, I want to have a better life. I want to go to college. And I went to a high school that was strictly like education, academic. So I didn't get, I sometimes say I did get a high school, let me fix my address. I did get a high school like experience, but I didn't get like the OG high school experience. Like people be saying like, oh, you know, I used to go to football games. I got what's it called? Like the prom proposal at the game. Like I didn't get that. I was in band. I was a dancer in the band. Then I became the head captain in the band. And that was kind of like my whole like high school career. And I was reading a lot of books in the library. And then yeah, that's pretty much what my granted, I could have, we had like partnering schools, or like schools that the bus drops you off at, where you could like join those teams and dance with them. But baby, that's not cheap, right? So I had to make do with what I had. And some people growing up used to not like me because of like how I was. And like when I became the captain, like people didn't like me for real because they felt like I wasn't worthy. And what God put his hands on, nobody can, mess up, right? So yeah, sometimes I'll miss practice. I'm like, we're not gonna have the money anyway. Mind you, kids, I know at that time we were all kids, so I give grace to those that did not like me. But you really don't know what's going on behind doors, right? Behind closed doors, right? So I used to be like, oh, I'm just gonna skip practice after, because it was good the first year because we had the money, blah blah blah. But when it started getting like really hard, really struggling, we didn't have the money no more. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna have the money anyway, so I might as well not even go to practice. And I wanted to try to either be on the team or be the captain. Mind you, I did not care. That's the number one thing. I did not even care. I just wanted to be on the team. I just wanted to dance. I just wanted to have a break. I wasn't necessarily looking for popularity or being known, or I wasn't looking for none of that. I needed a break from that house. Okay? And that's the thing that people don't understand. They just be like, oh, she's not worthy. She's not this. She's not that. She's skipping practice. She doing this. She doing that. Baby, life at home is hard. Like, so, but the thing is, when you're young, you don't want to say that. You don't want to like, it's low key embarrassing because kids are cruel. They're mean. So, and it took me a long time to open up to talk about this, and I'm literally 20 something, just now talking about something that happened almost a decade ago. So that shows that it's not, it's not easy, right? So, that going through that whole thing and seeing how people operate without even knowing what's going on behind closed doors. Granted, I've said some things, I've cussed a few people out, blase blase, but it's just seeing how people operate that kind of like, it made me want to go harder, and it made me like be like, dang, like I was cool. I was cool with you. I was cool with y'all. I was cool. I didn't care, because I got bigger fish to fry. Like, I got bigger fish to fry, and sitting there being upset over who made what, or sitting there talking bad about people, it just wasn't. I was quiet growing up too. Like, I was an angry, quiet person. Some people say I was unapproachable. Some people say I was mean. Some people say I was cold. But I'm truly learning that was just a reflection of the environment that I was growing up in, and or how I reacted to that. I'll just say that how I was reacting, because our household wasn't like quote unquote mean, but it was like tough love. It was a little rough, but it wasn't like, oh, whatever. Seeing that, it made me want to go harder, right? So I was like, okay, and it really did affect me, which is why I'm talking about it right now, because I'm like, dang, like you could literally think people are so sweet, so nice, and you just overlooking it. And if anything, you feel like they're inspiring you because their family is different from yours. Whole time they hate your guts, baby. They hate you. They hate you. They want what you got. And you could be sitting there being humble, like, oh, they have more than me, blah, 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 blah. Whole time they hate you. They do not like you at all. And when I started learning that kind of made me just be like, it is what it is. I don't care. Once I graduate, I can go to college, do what I got to do. This is the Morphe Micro Brow Pencil in Java. This is my favorite pencil when I want like a good, quick, thick, not thick, but like deep, dark brown brow, as you can see. But yeah, so, and I guess this can be like a reflection. I'll figure out what I want to title the video when I get there, when I'm editing. But yeah, so then when I started moving to college was hard for me. Not college was hard for me, but like getting to college was hard for me, right? My mom, she's very loving. I love her so much. And she's like tight knit, with family. So she don't want people to go too far away, right? So I had to beg my mama and my pops, please let me go to college. Please, let me go. Because my mom was like, it's colleges in Dallas. You could just stay in Dallas. But something in me was like, no, if you stay here, you're not gonna grow like you're supposed to, and you might get complacent. You might like I kept feeling those feelings where it was like, I have to leave. In order for me to grow how I want to grow, I have to leave. Like that's what was on my heart. I don't know if it was God. I don't know what because I was young. So yeah, I would be at school talking to all the college advisors, trying to get them to help me out, trying to get them to basically even my dance instructors. I'll forever have respect for my dance instructor. I don't think I can say her name, but my dance instructor and my principal of the school that I was in. And the band directors and other principals of the other schools that was inside, because my high school was a what's it called, magnet center, right? So it had different schools in there and different principals. It had like ESSM, health, um talented and gifted, and SEM or whatever. It had like a bunch of, and law, it had like a bunch of schools in there, right? So those teachers, those principals there, they it was like they all came together. It truly takes a community, as I'm saying. They all came together to help me. And I remember one day my dance instructor was announcing that, oh, okay, first of all, let's go all the way back. So it got to a point where we were struggling, to the point where we were sleeping in the car, basically struggling, basically being homeless, right? And so she basically was like, "Oh, do you want me to announce who it is? Do you want me to like basically?" Because they was gonna put it on the intercom and say, "Okay, it's winter time. Families are in need, and we have our own student who needs help and needs like clothes and food and all that stuff." And she was like, "Do you want me to tell who it is?" And I was like, "Hell no!" And at the time, my job, like I told y'all, I was a quiet person back then, and people probably didn't even think that I was going through what I was going through because I wasn't talking about it. Like, it was nothing to talk about. I wanted to get out of the situation more than just sitting there talking about it, right? So when she said that, it scared me. I was like, no. Then my mama, I was like, I don't want my mama, because my mama was like, what goes in the house stays in the house. That's how my family is, right? So I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that, because I'm the type of person, I'm not scared, but I don't want to hear nobody's mouth. Like, I hate, like, what does that mean? Like, when you want to do something and you know somebody gonna say something, so you just do it the right way, because you like, I do not want to hear you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it more. I just want to do the right thing, going about my business. That's how I am. Whatever that is, that's how I am. Like, people can be like, oh, you a goody two shoes, you this and that. I do not care. As long as I ain't got to hear nobody's mouth, I'm straight. Because once I start hearing your mouth and I have to go back and forth with you and then I have to argue, then I'm going to start going ballistic, and I don't got time for that. I'm going to start going crazy. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm the type of person where I will constantly like hold stuff in and blow up at the end, right? Depending on what it is. I am confrontational. If something's bothering me, I'll say something. But certain stuff, I just let slide. I let it roll. But if you keep picking and nagging, I just let you slide. Oh, now I gotta go off. So that's the type of person I am. We could be cool if we're gonna be cool, but if we're not gonna be cool, whatever. So I respect my mom too much. I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to become disrespectful to her. So I said no. I don't want to expose that or say anything, things like that. Granted, I was gonna graduate. It wasn't gonna matter anyway. But I don't know. I feel like my mama, that really, really hurt my mama, because being a mom and it's a lot, right? So after that, I need to do I guess this could be like get to know me or whatever, because I just kind of hopped on YouTube for like stress relief. I really didn't even say who I was. I just went on there and just kept going. But yeah, so I had to fast forward. I graduated high school. I was on them advisors, but the principals were helping me. The band directors were helping me. My dance instructor was helping me. Everybody was being so helpful. I truly felt like God's presence was there with me every step of the way, right? My the principal of my school even showed me around her house at the time, and it was so nice. She was like, you're gonna have this one day, you're gonna make it out of what you're going through. She just was speaking life into me, right? And I love that. My dance instructor, she even drove me down to Prairie View to try out to be a black fox or a what's it called, panther dog. And I ended up making the panther dogs. I did not make the black foxes. I really wish that when I was younger that I could have gotten to like technique classes and stuff like that. That's why I said people be like, money ain't gonna make you happy, but money helps a lot. it helps a lot. It can get you into open doors. It can get you into opportunities. It can get you where you want to be. And I was cool. Like I said, I was cool with that. I understood at a young age that we did not have much. And so as long as I could make it on some team, I was fine. And I ended up thriving on the Panther Dolls team. I ended up learning from a lot of people, learning a lot of things, getting to know people, learning different dancing styles, being grateful, having fun. Just having fun in college. I never went truly like buck wild. I feel like I had my moments where I could have or I did, but it was like, it scared me a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to, do too much, right? Because I didn't want to have to go back home. That's another thing. I operated in the mindset where I did not want to have to go back into struggle. I didn't want to have to disappoint my family. I didn't want to have to go back to what I wanted to grow from. Because people could look at the dorms and be like, oh, the dorms are like, they're nothing, right? It's just it could be better, right? Me, that was amazing. I don't want to mess that up. So I was very, I don't know the word for that, but I just was like, I'm walking on thin ice until I get to nursing school, until I graduate, right? From college, right? And I need to stop talking so much because I'm not doing my makeup. I was operating in, I got something good going. I can't mess this up. I don't want to go back home. I don't want to disappoint nobody. And they be like, yeah, see, this is why we should never sent you all the way out there, right? I didn't want to be a statistic, a disappointment. I didn't want to do none of that, right? So then I ended up having to stay back. I was supposed to be a nurse. I was supposed to be a nurse. Like, been a nurse a long time ago. But number one reason why I couldn't go to, because, okay, this is how our school operates. So you do 2 years main campus. You do your prereqs, right? And then after that, you transition to putting in your application at that last semester of the second year, and then once you get accepted, you have to move all the way to Houston. Mind you, it did not click to me at that time that Houston was not in the same vicinity or close to Prairie View. Like, it's 40-something minutes to an hour away, but in my mind, I just was like one thing at a time. So when it got to the point where it was like, oh, you got to go all the way to Houston in order to go to nursing school, I was like, oh shoot, another freaking challenge. Because I was, at that time, my mindset was like, dang, every time I want to make a move, I'm met with a challenge. Everything is hard for me. I had that why me mindset. Like, it's always got to be me. I'm always getting into something. There's always some trouble. There's always some problems. That's how my mindset was. It was like, dang, nothing's going to come easy for me, right? Nothing come easy to nobody. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so mind you, I was like, okay, another obstacle to overcome, right? So then, mind you, I ended up meeting people with good families that were able to help me. Like, I feel like God, like I said, God carried me all the way through that journey, right? So when I got to the last semester, I had to stay another semester and take BS classes because I was not ready to go to nursing school because of finances. I was working and I had to get those. So Prairie View had this thing where, I don't care what school y'all know I go to. Prairie View had this thing where students who had cars, they would literally do like a Uber service in Grwm. When I tell you I was paying them people, and I was working at the little Walmart over there, I would pay them people to take me to work so I could try to save up the money to get there. Still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough because I did have to pay rent at the apartments that I was living at. I would use my school refunds to kind of help me sometimes, but y'all, sometimes that money ain't enough, right? Cause you still gotta eat, you gotta do this. Yes, they had that little MSC, but that's during like school hours, right? So I had to be really smart on having groceries and having the things that I needed, right? So then it came time again to go, and I had a person I used to study with, and his family ended up helping me get the rent for the apartment in Houston, and I had a roommate at the time, and I was low-key holding her back too. Mind you, people don't know what's going on and like to run their mouth, but I had to help. I was kind of holding her back because it was like a push-pull thing. Like, are you ready? Are you not ready? Y'all talked about y'all wanting to be roommates, blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure. I don't really have the money. I'm trying to get the money together. I'm trying to save the money. I'm trying to do this, and mind you, I'm doing this on my own. I'm doing this on my own. No car, no nothing. Family is, don't have the funds. Cool. Family has a whole bunch of kids they have to take care of. Cool. I'm not even, asking that because I already know that it's hard. So I'm doing this on my own. And like I said, people gonna talk, they gonna do what they gonna do. But I got a goal in my mind that I just couldn't I didn't care if I had to stay at PV another year. I was gonna make it to that nursing school. I actually got accepted. Like I said, I got accepted, but I was gonna make it. I don't know how I was gonna get to Houston. I didn't know how I was gonna be able to attend the school. But it was gonna happen. Let me start doing my makeup because I'm just yapping. Okay, so I'm gonna I cleaned my face already. I'm gonna use the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel with hyaluronic acid. This is a moisturizer and it's so good, y'all. It was sent to me by this company called Heyyyy or something. I'm gonna put the name on the screen. I've been collaborating and partnering with them for partnering and collaborating with them for a very long time. I think it's been a year now. And I love them so much because they're so sweet. As long as I do what I'm supposed to do and submit my videos on time, they will count me into the collaborations that they have, even though I have a low amount of following. But any type of like experience that I can get, even if I'm not getting paid from it, like just sitting here like making the videos and learning is helpful to me. Like I said, when I started doing YouTube, I wasn't necessarily looking for money out of it. I was looking for stress relief, like something to distract my mind, kind of like therapy, right? So yeah, but like I said, so the family helped. I was able to move in. This is year 2020. So I was talking to y'all about 2016 to like 2019. And then January 2020 is when I was finally able to move to Houston to actually go to nursing school. And got into my first apartment with a roommate. Mind you, my manager at Walmart was the person who brought me over there, like packed his car and helped me get over there. So sweet, so loving. Thank you so much. Like I said, I don't know how I was gonna do it, but it was gonna get done, right? So okay, so after doing that, I'm gonna let that dry down a little bit, and then we're gonna move into our primer and then our foundation. I know I'm yapping. Oh, well, I'm gonna do my brows. I know I'm yapping. Ooh, I did not want this video to be long. I'm so sorry if it ends up being long. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Black Radiance True Complexion Longwear Concealer. And we're gonna use this to carve out our brows. Where we at? We in 2020 of January. Had a roommate, went through everything, got cool, became like a sister to me. I'm excelling, doing well in nursing school, studying hard, stressed out, feeling like, dang, like, is this really worth it? And then I did I'm not gonna say I passed with flying colors. I ain't passing no flying colors. But whatever they said the lowest amount to be at, I think it was 74.5. I was making it with A's and B's, and I probably had like 2 C's, and it was like 75s, like 75 and 76. There we go, 75, 76, and then A's and B's. From semester 1 to semester 3. Yeah, this semester 4 came, and that is the dreaded semester that I will never ever forget. It had med surg and mental health in there, and a teacher, she was something else. So that was that. She was giving like extremely low grades. So like I told y'all, my grades were always A's and B's, and it would be that one class that was a C. And if I had got anything lower than like a 60 something, it'll make me not be able to pass the class, and that's what happened. She gave us like a 7. She gave us a really low grade on a group paper. I don't even remember what it was. It was really low. And so we had went to like meeting with her, asking for, what's the reason for us getting this low grade? So, it's a group paper. All throughout nursing school, we do APA papers, right? And so she was telling us what was wrong, and we went and corrected it and still got a very, very low grade. And at that time, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I don't pass this test, all I needed was like a 69 or a 70 on the final exam, and then it was hard. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't pass this test, I ain't gonna pass this class. Girl, guess what I got? Freaking 68! I got a freaking 68 on the final exam. The final exam was weighed a lot heavier than the original exams, like percentage based. So it would be like percent to get to a full like 100%. So like maybe like 16. The other ones was like 12. I don't know. It was some weird breakdown. And so even though I got the 68 on the final exam, it weighed heavier. So it dropped my grade lower. And so I had got a 74.36 in that class, and that's why I didn't pass. A 74.36, and you need a 74.5 in order to pass. And you think I wasn't gonna do a grade appeal on it? I messed up. Mind you, before that, I took the med surg and I had to drop a class, and then I ended up not passing med surg. So I had another lifeline. And that right now, when I'm telling you I had that 74.36, that was my last lifeline. So it's either I do a grade appeal or I withdraw from the whole entire nursing program and restart the process. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It took me a long time to get to where I was. It took me, when I tell you that whole story that I just told y'all was a fight, and you mean to tell me I didn't make it because you wanted to grade the paper low? Mind you, if she had graded it with at least a 70 or a 75, I would have been, I would have been cool. I would have been gravy. But she wanted to be unrealistic. So I went through the grade appeal. Mind you, the people, it was like two of us that didn't make it out of the group in the group paper. And the other two, I'm just watching them, go ahead and pass, go ahead and graduate. Mind you, I'm happy for them. But that's I'm still kind of sad because I'm like, dang, this was a group paper. We was all supposed to make it out. And, I don't know. So I'm just feeling bad because I'm like, I worked so hard to get to where I'm at. And now I have to, here you go. Everything is hard for me mindset. Now I have to sit here and go through the challenges. Let me charge my thing. Go through the challenges of doing a grade appeal and at that time, well, I don't even know because that was my first time doing a grade appeal, but the rumor was that grade appeals are not successful. The success rate is very, very low. You have to have like a good, because it involves everybody, like the principal and like the person over the entire school, chancellor. It just involves like so many people, and it's like the chances were like really low, right? So what I did, I prayed about it a lot, and I started networking. So I started talking to people who have gone through grade appeals. I started asking them what their process was, what did they do, and if it wasn't successful, I'm not the type person where I'm only asking successful people. I asked everybody. I asked people that wasn't successful. I asked people who were successful. There was one person who was successful, and she had done the grade appeal a lot of times, and she was very successful. God bless her heart. She's a nurse now, thank God. But she was very helpful. Like, she was the most helpful out of everybody. She would give me a breakdown. We would talk on the phone. She'll tell me this is what you gotta do. She'll pray for me, things like that. And so I literally took all that advice and combined it into one. Brows are done. My eyelashes are looking funny, y'all. I have went to a lash tech in Houston, and these lashes have been lasting. They were a lot thicker than this before. Baby, when I tell you it's probably a month and a half, I'm finna put her at. If I was still in Houston, she would literally be my lash tech because these are falling out, but look, they still look like a soft lash. I'm so sad. And we was really bonding during our I'm going off topic. We was really bonding during the session. She was cool. She was cool. Okay. I blend it out and then I take the brush and I kind of ombre out the front because I don't want to give unibrow, you know? I want to just play around. But basically, I took all their advice into one and I started developing a plan. And y'all, when I tell y'all I didn't go on social media, I should have. I should have looked at what other people did. I literally used people that were around me. And networking is important, y'all. Like, don't, like me, like I told y'all, I grew up, I was kind of quiet, I stayed to myself. You can't keep being that way. That it gets to a point where that's not cute. It's not cute to be shy. It's not cute. I get people might have like mental setbacks or whatever, but it's not. It's you gotta life gonna hit you. Life don't care about you being nervous. Life doesn't care about you being shy. Life doesn't care if you want the opportunity. It gets to a point. How bad do you want it? Do you want to let your shyness set you back? Do you want to let how you grew up set you back? No. So you got to do it. You got to. How I think, no, it's just another opportunity. Okay, it's just another opportunity in disguise. People will be looking at me crazy, trying to talk me down. Like, grad appeals aren't successful. I don't think you should do it. I don't give. I don't care. I'm gonna do it because the most that they could say is no. Like, what's if they say no? Okay. When I look back in the future, and I say this all the time, if I was in the future and I was looking back on my life and I wasn't a nurse or I wasn't like where I am now, I want to be able to look back and say I did everything I could. You know, I didn't want to look back and be like I could have just went and did that grad appeal. You know, no, I want to look back and be like if I wasn't a nurse right now, I'd be like, I did everything, y'all. I did the grad appeal, I did this, I did that, you know. But I did the grad appeal, and thank God, it worked out in my favor. I ended up, making it. I went in there, I was nervous. I said a quick prayer before the meeting started, and I stated my facts. I stated my truth. I said what it was. I did what I needed to do, and I was nervous as hell because you don't find out until 48 hours later, and it's by email from the person that's over the school. And when I tell you, I was so scared to open the email because I'm like, bro. But I was like, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. I said, I put my faith in God. God got me. I did all that I could do. I fought a hard fight. I was already like, I fought a hard fight if this don't come out the way I wanted to, right? I'm using the Juvia's Place bronze palette in tan. I'm talking too much. And I opened the email, and I got the email, and the email basically was like, you have now, went from a 7436 to a 75. So I had a 75 in class. And so that means that you come back to school the following semester. So I had to sit a whole semester out, which pushed me back a year. So I'm pushed back a year and a half from graduating, right? I sat 1 year out. I didn't pass the other semester, so I had to retake it, and then they pushed me. So I was supposed to be a nurse like a year to a year and a half ago. So a year and a half from 2023 of December. So I was supposed to be a nurse in like 2020, the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023. That's when I was supposed to be a nurse, right? So, or graduated. Let me not say nurse. I was supposed to graduate during that time. So I did not graduate until December of 2023. They don't offer that semester during the summer. So there was like no way. I was at the last semester, right? So I passed that class. They told me I passed that class and got a 75. So I only have one semester left. They do not offer that semester over the summer. They did, but during that time they stopped. The success rate was really low. Whatever, amongst all the other things that could be the reason why they don't. But I was like, I will not be taking that semester over the summer, considering, because the summer is a short amount of time, but considering my failure rate taking this fourth semester in a full semester with both classes and failing, I was like, no, that wouldn't be smart. So I'm gonna sit the semester out, study, talk to people, get some advice on how to pass this semester, because I'm only one semester from graduating, one semester from being a nurse. That was my mindset, right? So I literally cracked down. I was working at 2 hospitals at the time, and I said I need to be reading ahead of time, reading these chapters ahead of time, talking to people, and that's what I did. And I applied myself, got into the 5th semester, met a lot of wonderful people, met a lot of teachers, learned a lot of things, and then ended up passing. the 5th semester by the skin of my teeth. Okay, that semester was not easy. It was not funny. But I told myself, this is the primer. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide, and I'm gonna just rub it in with my fingertips. But that semester was not easy, and that was a semester where it was so easy to feel defeated and try to get depressed, and I didn't want that. So I started applying myself. I started putting on makeup every day or every other day, dressing up, because you are how you feel. So I said, I'm not feeling this semester. But if I do, I'm gonna look good doing it. Girl, when I tell you, oh, it was so hard. And then when I would see some of those test scores and it was good, I would get nervous, like, this is too good to be true, this is too good to be true. Then I had got a bad one. I was like, so it was like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I'm, meeting with the teachers. I'm like, oh my gosh, some of them wasn't plugging in the grades on time. So your grade looking low. And you like, am I passing this class or not? It was just a lot. Then they had this other class called like nursing success, which was nursing failure to me because it would feel like it was set up to fail you. But it basically was supposed to be a class that prepped you for NCLEX, but it was hard. It was harder than the other classes. It was harder than the other classes. Community and leadership. It was harder than them. And it was supposed to be an NCLEX class. So you would think that would not be a BS class, but it would be a class where it's like you should be successfully passing that class because they're just teaching you something for you to take on later on. So it was giving me like one of those classes where it's like an extracurricular, like, oh, you need it, but it ain't gonna hurt you from graduating or not passing. Little did we know that class was our arch nemesis. Like, we was complaining about how that class is not even a core required class. So why is it set up to where I'm finna fail the nursing program because of a class that's not even a core? It was an extracurricular class. It was. So, but it was like mandatory that you take it or whatever. So I don't even know if that's making sense, but oh my gosh, this video gonna be long. Y'all, let me do some of my face and then I'll talk. I ain't gonna lie, I had like minor problems with this semester. I had fun. Like, it was hard, but I had fun, especially with the community course. And then my teacher that was over leadership, she made it fun. Like, the stuff that you learn in leadership, you like, there's a whole nother world. Y'all, when I get excited, I start talking loud. You like, there's a whole nother world of nursing that you did not know about. And I love when teachers like teach it like you could tell she a leader. You could tell she a leader because they make the class that you would, like, if you was reading, you'd be like, this class gonna be boring. But she makes it fun, Like, I didn't think it was gonna be boring. I thought it would be interesting, for the record. But you can tell that she is a leader and that she loves what she does and she's passionate because she's able to bleed that off into teaching to the other students, right? And she was very inspirational to me. Love her to death. But yeah, so man, I didn't really have problems. It was just that whole, like, am I gonna pass or not? Is this nursing success class gonna take me out or not? It was kind of like that little, like, what's gonna happen, And then the holidays came around and I wanted to go home to Dallas, but and then homecoming. But I was like, I'm not trying to sit here and play around and then I not pass. And people was like, oh, this is the last homecoming as a nursing student. You have to go. You gotta do this. I said no. I'm staying home. So me and my we were nursing like classmates, and then we became best friends, nursing besties. But me and her was like, we're not gonna play around the last semester. We on our last leg. Mind you, the people who were probably saying that, they probably had lifelines. Me and her, I feel like even though me and her did not have any more lifelines, the way that we so serious, I feel like we still wouldn't have gone to homecoming on that last semester because we was like, we ready to get out. Ain't no, I'm finna retake this semester. No. We was ready to get out. We was like, we been here too long. I'm seeing people looking like they 13 and I'm feeling like I'm older than that. Like I'm like like obviously people, you know, they're younger than me, but I'm like, I've been here too long. You know, I feel like I've been here too long. People DMing us, they was like, y'all studying their homecoming week, y'all studying. We like, hell yeah. This ain't no joke. Like, And me, I feel like it's cool when everybody else do it when I do it. So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna just stay home. I'm gonna study. And so we was studying, which was cool. I did not care. Then the year after that, I'm already, you know, graduated nursing school. I still didn't go to homecoming. So I'm like, I'm probably just over it. You know, I'm ready to see new things. I'm ready to travel. I feel like I was outgrowing Houston. That's during the time I was like, I feel like I was outgrowing Houston because I'm like, I'm ready to see more. This nightlife can't be all there is. Going out can't be all there is. And then I'm getting closer to God, like wanting to have like a deeper understanding. Not that young, you know, understanding where it's like, oh, I know the basic Bible studies. I wanted to know more. I wanted to dig deeper. I wanted to, you know who God was. I want to change my ways. I want to get better at things. There's more. There's more, you know? This is not all there is. So this is like August to December. So then when December came around, it was still kind of iffy because it was early December. So I'm gonna say November. When November came around, it was kind of iffy on who was graduating and who wasn't. And then when they finally put all the grades in, it was like, I'm gonna graduate. Mind you, I was having problems with my relationship. There's a lot going on. I was dealing with a lot of change. I was becoming a little bit distant from my friends because I'm like, I have to make it out. I have to make it out. But mind you, they were supportive, so that didn't really matter. Not distant on purpose, but like, y'all, I gotta get it. I have to make it. I have to make it. They were speaking life into me, saying that I would make it and things like that. So then when December, was it 9th? I feel like it's December 9th, 2023 is when I graduated. December 9th, 2023, I graduated. I had 2 jobs as a nurse tech. One of them I had to stop working once I graduated because you had to get this, what is it called, like a graduate nurse license or something like that. And plus that was a federal job anyway, so they took forever to even ask me to even, they took forever to even like screen me to be able to work there or whatever. Like I found out like June 2021 and it had been like almost 6 months before they called me back, and I was going to Hawaii for my birthday the next week. So it was like, I want the job, but this trip ain't cheap. And it was already paid for. So they was like, it's okay. You can just come, when you come back, be ready. You know, we're going to get you, you know, all settled in. And I learned a lot from that job working at the VA. And I met a lot of people and I loved it. I did not want to leave. I tried to schedule myself to keep working after, I graduated, but my manager was like, we literally can't let you stay working here without having that nurse graduate license. And I was like, okay, I understand. So but that was gonna be a whole nother process. It was as if weren't already working there. Like it was like a whole nother process. And I was like, it's okay, I gotta focus on passing the NCLEX. So I probably won't even be able to work as much as I want to anyway. I wanted to be a nurse there. I applied to be a nurse there first. But my other job that I was working for ended up moving a lot faster because it was county based. So I was able to be a nurse there first. Mind you, I had 3. I'm almost done with the story. I'm not even done with it. Mind you, I had 3 types of nursing specialties or like areas that I wanted to go into. It was labor and delivery, ER, or med-surg. Med-surg was my last choice because when I would like do clinicals and be around the nurses, I'm sorry, they were like miserable. Like they were not happy. All I heard was complaining. Nobody was uplifting. Everybody was just, and then they were kind of like, I know they were like busy. When I say this, I'm not speaking negatively about it. I'm just like, it scared me off. Like it made me not want to be a nurse. I mean, not a nurse, a med-surg nurse. So they would kind of be like, it would give like, I don't want a student. Cool, get it, you're busy. I didn't understand that emotion until I actually became a nurse. But mind you, I'm a nurse like I'm new. It's my first year. So me having a student is like, I really cannot afford to have a student right now because I don't want to make a mistake as a new nurse. But them, they would have been nurses for a hot minute and still didn't want to have a student. Don't understand that yet. Hopefully I don't get to that point. I want to be a person that's happy to have a student. But not gonna lie, having a student as a new nurse is hard. But we'll get to that. That's another topic for another day. So I started talking to other nursing students who graduated before me and asking them what specialties they were in, and asking them did they like it, how is it, what are some takeaways, what can I do? Do you suggest, just asking them how they want it. I talked to one person I graduated nursing school. Person I went to nursing school with that graduated before me, and she basically was like she chose labor and delivery. Mind you, I did not know that she was a labor and delivery nurse until I had asked the question. But she told me I'm using the Mac Studio Fix NC45, and then the ELF 16-hour camo concealer in rich ebony. This is real deep. I know y'all like, girl, that's too dark. It's real deep, and I want it for that purpose because I feel like it works really good. Like I don't have to add a lot of product in order for it to work, but I do need to hurry up and blend it out because it dries a little fast. But I like it to be that deep. I know it's not my shade. Like I'm well aware. But yeah, so I did not know she was a labor and delivery nurse until I asked, and she started telling me, yeah, I wanted something kind of happier. Nursing is not all happy. It's nursing. It's nursing people back to health, right? So it's not gonna be all happy, but she said she wanted something happier out of the odds, and that was labor and delivery, like seeing babies born. Of course, emergencies happen. Labor and delivery is not all bubblegum and rainbows. But out of all the nursing, specialties, besides like beauty and aesthetics and stuff, it's kind of like happy. You bring in a baby into the world. You helping somebody, bring another member of the family in. And I was like, that kind of sounds like me. That kind of sounds like where I would want to be, because I knew that med-surg was stressful, even like being a tech for over 2 years, helping people actually like clinical. So I was doing clinicals and I was working. So I was a nurse before I was even a nurse. But I was helping a lot of people in those different areas and specialties, and I was like, y'all not making it fun for me. Not fun, but like it's like, dang, like I get it. Work is work, work gonna be work. But I needed somebody to be. If you had to treat me, girl, treat me. I don't know, but don't treat me. But I just wasn't having those people that was like, oh, med-surg is just amazing. Oh, every time I came across a med-surg nurse, they was like, it ain't for the weak. I said, you know what? You ain't gotta worry about me. You ain't gotta worry about me. This is the One Size Ultimate Setting Powder in translucent. So people were saying, oh, what kind of nurse you gonna be? What you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm not sure what's out there. So I started talking to the people at my job about, what's open. And my manager was like, Dami, you have not applied to the, what is it called? It was like they were basically hiring the nursing students they already had working there first, and then they would go out to the outsiders. So they were doing their internals first, basically. So I was like, sorry, what was the problem? Oh, it closed. I was locked out of because I hadn't worked for a minute. You have to do like 2 shifts or something like that a month. I hadn't worked for a minute, so I was locked out of my work email and login. So I was like, I couldn't do the application in time because I've been so busy with school and trying to finish it. By the time I got to the application, and I had to call, it was a lot with IT and trying to figure out the times of calling them during school hours. It was just too much, and then having clinicals. I was like, I was locked out of my account. He was like, we finna unlock your account. And like I said, God had me every step of the way, because he could have just been like, oh, okay, bye. But he was like, no, we're going to unlock your account. I'm going to send you the link. You're going to fill out the link. You're going to do this. What are you interested in? Let me see what we have. I said, I want labor and delivery, ER, or med-surg. He said, now, with ER, that one was closed a long time ago. He said that people go for, like, ER goes fast basically, and they don't even have a lot of openings and just things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I understand. And so I was like, what about labor and delivery? He said they have a small slot. And I learned that once people get into labor and delivery, they don't leave. So that's why that was like that. They don't have a lot of nurses that leave, so they don't need to do a lot of applying. And I get it. I feel like that's the type of field you retire in. And I wish I had known that, because I would have did something else and then came back to labor and delivery and stayed. Like, I would literally, I say I can't see myself retiring there, but I can, but I kind of don't want to work forever. So yeah, and so people was like, yeah, you might not get the labor and delivery one because they only have 2 slots. I said, oh, okay. And I said, I took my butt right up to that interview. I said, oh, okay. And so I went to the interview, and they told me they had a little, they had an opening that same day or something. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be there. Like, I was very flexible. I didn't care. I said, if you tell me I need to be somewhere, I'm not gonna be, well, I have this. No. Okay, I'm gonna be there. I didn't care how it could have inconvenienced me. I literally said, okay, right after class, take my butt to the interview. So I took my butt to the interview. I showed my tail. I showed my personality. I, asked them a lot of questions. I took the advice from that same teacher that taught leadership, and her interview skills, they work, because I used them. I used my personality, and I used them, and I ended up getting the email 2 days later, earlier than what I thought I would, I think. Earlier than what I thought I would. And they ended up basically telling me, you have successfully, got the job or whatever, something like that. And so, mind you, at the time, I did not know the nurse manager, not the nurse manager, the director of nursing was in my, y'all, the director of nursing was literally in my interview. I was interviewed by 2 people. Mind you, before that, as a tech, I was already ready for that, because when I had got interviewed for the VA, I had a panel of 3 people, and they was firing questions left and right. So I was like, oh, well, still running with that mindset. It might be hard for me, so I might have 3 to 4 people in the interview room with me. And then other nurses students were saying that they had 3 to 4 people in the interview room with them. So I said, I'm probably gonna be that person that has that. No, I only had 2 people, which is good. Some people are like, oh, only 2. Yeah, girl. So I only had 2, not 1. I only had 2, not 3 or 4, just 2. And so I had, showed them my personality, and basically, gave them truthful answers. I said, well, I am a tech, so I can use these stories. And then I use my customer service stories from when I was like working at like Walmart or Sonic, but I probably only used one of those stories. And I used all my nurse tech stories. And I had them laughing. And I was like, you know what? The least they could tell me is no. Like, that's the whole time I'll be like, the least they could tell me is no. It's gonna open another door for another opportunity. So I was like, I'm just gonna, give them a good time. If they remember me, if they don't remember nothing else, they remember that girl had us laughing. Yes, I did. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush, and that was the labor and delivery job, by the way, that people were saying that, oh, you might not get it, you might not. I said, okay. Okay. It's always gonna be somebody that's gonna talk down on what you're doing. But if you know I don't like how that's sitting. I don't like how that's sitting. But if you know yourself and you know that no don't affect you, do it. Everybody else can say what they want to say. If no doesn't affect you, do it. Just do it. It does not matter. It does not matter. I'm going to take the Sephora Micro Smoothing Baked Face Powder in 58 Almond. And I'm seeing like the only thing with this, it's very potent. So you have to go real little. Like, even those little dots I did was too much. So, and I know it's because it's not my shade. But I'm just going to blend around the harsh lines. And it's already looking good. But yeah, so I'm basically telling my story to motivate you. Even if you come from being homeless, come from the hood like me, come from a family that doesn't have a lot of people in healthcare or no people in healthcare, things like that. If you come from something, you can make it out. You can be a change. You can break generational curses. No is going to be there. Failure is going to be there. No was there for me every step of the way. Failure was there for me every step of the way. But you cannot succeed without failing. Say it again. You cannot succeed without failing. Okay? You can't. It's impossible. You're not going to be successful at everything. If you think that you were successful at everything, it's because you did not see it as failure. You did not see the things that you failed in as failure. That's why you think that you succeed at everything that you do. But trust me, you failed at something. And that's not being negative. That's being honest. That's being true. That's being truthful. You just probably did not see it as that. I'm going to go back into the bronze palette again just to contour my nose because my nose looks flat. I almost forgot about it. But yeah, so just take my story and just do what you gotta do. Like, let it motivate you, because I literally had to fight to get to college. I had to fight to stay in college. I had to fight to get to nursing school. I had to fight to get to Houston. I had to fight to stay in the program because I failed out of the program, quote unquote. And then, after that, I had to fight to stay in, in the classes because fifth semester was hard, but it was just that one class. And then after that, there's new challenges. There's doing interviews, doing job. Thank God that, it was a little, I almost missed out, but I made it. And I feel like that was the easy part for me. The only easy part out of this journey was going into the interview and being myself and getting the job. Because I fully was like, there's no way the first job that I interviewed for, I'm going to get. And it didn't even take that long. Like, everybody else was going to mad hospitals and doing that. I prioritized the jobs that I already worked for. The VA and, I don't work that no more. Mid-top. I prioritized the ones that I had already worked at. And I put my effort and time into it. And I said, after that, I'm gonna go to some other hospitals. But I wanted to work at the ones I was already working at because I was already there. Like, I liked the people. I learned a lot. I truly was like, either I get into, it's two options. I either get one or the other one. But not getting either one of them, I did not see that as an option. I said, I'm gonna get one of them. I just don't know which one. I was expecting it to be the VA though, but oh well. I'm gonna use the Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. And I'm going to spray this to kind of dry down those powders. Y'all, I like to spray a lot because this spray's going to sit. So after this dries down, I'm going to go in with the One Size On Till Dawn mattifying waterproof spray. But I'm going to do my lip. Like I said, failure is going to be there. You can't let failure get to you. I'm in a whole nother state with no job whatsoever. Part of that is because of the nurse license endorsing thingy and a compact license. And then part of it is that, life kind of changed for me quickly. I was anticipating it, but I didn't know it would happen that quickly. But I have my full trust in God. So I'm going to get a job at some point. It's just not going to be on my time. I truly trust and believe in God. So I'm not worried about coming somewhere with no job or getting somewhere with no job. I'm able-bodied. I'm ambitious, and it will happen for me. It's just a matter of when. That is my mindset. It's just a matter of when. People can look at me, oh, you crazy. I would have never gone. I would have never did this. Oh, okay. Like, oh, okay. I don't know. I don't let fear push me back. It's scary, yeah. You got to give up a lot of things. You got to move away from people that you met and spent time with and grew connections with. But I want to see the world. I want to travel. I've been in a long-term relationship. I'm ready to be in one, place. I'm very thankful and grateful to God that I got a career that can move with me. Like, I don't have to necessarily sit down and stay in one area because it's only like provided in that area. When you have a nurse license, as long as you operate in the compact states, you can pretty much travel. And that's, when I was younger, I always said I wanted to travel. And my mama put in my ear, have a recession and depression proof job. And I kept fighting for it, and I got it. I'm not like prideful or anything. I'm just grateful to be here. Like, even when I was in nursing school and people were younger than me, and they'd be like, dang, you were supposed to graduate a long time ago or whatever. When I would only tell people I was close with or like cool with, I was like, yeah, you know, I did not care. Like some people be like, I couldn't do it. I don't know how you doing it. It gotta get done. So for my lip combo, I'm gonna do the MAC Chestnut Lip Pencil, and I'm gonna use Unbutton by Fenty Beauty. And then for my gloss, I wanna do the MAC Cream Sheen Glass. It's Boy Bait 204. The last thing that I wanna say is that people can say what they wanna say about you, but they can't say, you know, quitter, okay? They can't call you no quitter. So you gotta keep going. You gotta keep fighting. Like I said, it comes earlier. Like I said, it comes to a point where you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough that it comes at the expense of the opinions of other people and what they would do, or do you want it bad to the point where it doesn't matter what anybody says? I want it. I'm gonna get it. Because at the end of the day, you the person who has to go through everything that you go through. You know. I love me a good sharpened pencil. I feel like you can get that lip that you want when that pencil is sharp. I love that. Remember that we only get one life, right? You can't possibly spend that life worrying about what somebody gonna think, worrying about what they gonna say. You cannot. Guess what that person gonna do? They gonna go live their life, and they don't care about, you know, any opinions or nothing. It's one time to go out with a bang. You gonna go out with a bang, or you gonna follow somebody else? You gotta do what you want. You can't be caring. Do what you want to do. It don't matter. If you fail, okay. If you succeed, okay, good. Like a thing that I do that helps me, I think of it as I'm borrowing it from God. It's not mine. When you dissociate yourself from calling it yours, failing doesn't feel like failure. It is failure, but it doesn't feel like it because it wasn't mine anyway to begin. Oh, when I left Houston, I got hit with a tab of like $2,500 before leaving. Wiped my whole savings out. On top of something else I had to pay for. Oh, month-to-month rent for the apartment. I cried. I shed my little tears. I was mad. I was so upset. I was hurt. But I was like, it wasn't mine to begin with. And it softened the blow, okay? God gave it to me for a reason. And I had the money to be able to leave without having nothing left over to have to pay or nothing that could hurt my credit, right? So it softens the blow. So if that helps you, do that because that's what helps me. You need to figure it out. You need to pray harder, which I'm learning myself. You need to pray harder. You need to steward the money that he's giving you well. You need to educate yourself. You need to read. You need to get a financial advisor. You don't need to be out here broke and struggling. You need to be out here thriving and working with what you got and living and repenting for your sins and thanking God for blessing you for another day. You know, so you don't need to be miserable. It's no reason to be miserable. Get up and get it. Nobody else gonna tell you. I'm telling you in this video, but I'm not gonna be there to tell you every day. Your mom not gonna be there to tell you every day. Your boyfriend gonna be. Nobody's gonna be there to tell you every day. You gotta tell yourself every day. I will make it out. You gotta speak life into yourself. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, and I truly believe that you have to speak life into yourself. Off camera, I had already sprayed my face with the One Size Until Dawn mattifying waterproof spray that I was telling y'all about earlier. But yeah, you can do it. You will do it. It will get done. It's just not on your time, okay? It's on God's time. Keep going. Pick yourself up. Shed your little tears like I did when I was telling y'all about before I left Houston. Shed your little tears. Bounce back. Pray some more. Don't only pray when everything going good. Pray throughout the whole process and have faith that you can do it. You gotta have faith in yourself. Number one, you gotta have faith in God, but you have to have faith in yourself too. Because if you don't believe in you, who gonna believe in you? Yeah, people can say they believe in you, but sometimes when it comes down to it, you really learn that you only got God in yourself. Okay, so it can happen. It will happen. Stop hurting yourself by gloating and by feeling bad. Just do it. Even if it take a long time. You think people gonna be out here saying, or patients gonna be like, did you pass your NCLEX the first time? or how long it take you to graduate nursing school. No, they just want you to take care of them and do well in it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for letting me talk your ear off. I hope this video motivated you. That was my goal. Thank you for watching this video. And if you're interested in more videos or you want videos more like this style, just leave a comment or like the video. It helps a lot. It's free. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. What are you waiting for? But yes, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in another one. Bye.